You are listening to Skin, Earth, Vitality, the podcast where ancient wisdom meets modern vitality. If you are seeking to reconnect with your innate vibrancy, you're in the right place. I'm Emily Davis, a seasoned holistic esthetician and herbalist. Join me as we unlock the secrets of ancient skincare practices, explore the beauty of seasonal and nature-based living, herbalism, and true holistic well-being for you and the broader ecosystem. This podcast is brought to you by Stratum Aesthetics. Head to stratumaesthetics.com to find curated skincare, body care, and other wellness products hand-selected by me. Now enjoy the show. Please remember that the information I share in this podcast is based on my professional and personal experience. It is intended for educational and informational purposes only. It is not individualized skincare advice, nor is it medical advice. I encourage you to take charge of your own health decisions and listen to your body, seeking out the resources and professionals that best support your wellness journey. Hello there, friends. Emily here. I'm back for another episode, our last episode of 2024, which is exciting. Today, I want to talk about herbs to help you feel good in the winter. And last week, I talked about lifestyle habits to help you feel your best in the winter. And I talked about that first because just like with skincare, you can't herb your lifestyle, right? You can't just slap some spackle over that in the form of an herb and hope that it's going to fix everything. Lifestyle is always the foundation, and then things like skincare and herbs are supplemental and can be magical and beautiful, but we always want to start with the habits that we take part in every single day. So when I think of herbs that help you feel good in the winter, I think of herbs that are warming to offset the cold season, something that we're naturally drawn toward in our food and our baking with things like cinnamon and nutmeg and ginger. These warming herbs are also going to help with digestion most often, which is helpful and convenient because digestion naturally slows down when it's colder. I think of herbs that are uplifting and mood boosting, nervines, especially calming nervines, which are essentially just herbs that support the nervous system. And there's many different types of nervines, but calming are ones that we may feel really drawn toward during this time of year because winter naturally encourages us to slow down, but modern life often keeps us busy and stressed all year round, and supporting a calm nervous system is a way to ease back into this natural way of being. And then finally, immune supportive herbs can obviously be helpful during these months. So let's dive in. With our warming herbs, they're not literally raising your body temperature, but instead they're creating a sense of warmth by encouraging increased circulation and blood flow. They're helping to move energy throughout the body. And good circulation is so important as it keeps our body's internal fire burning. It's delivering oxygen and nutrients and all the things we need to the tissues and supporting the removal of waste products. And warming herbs help to counteract this tendency that we have during the winter to feel really sluggish. It's supporting that physical warmth, our digestion, our mental clarity. And they can also assist with muscle tension and physical stagnation within our body. So I picked 3 herbs under each of these categories. I could have picked 10 under each category, but I really wanted to pick my favorites and make it a little more streamlined for your listening pleasure. So the first one that I picked for the warming category is, I think, my favorite herb. It's tied, but ginger is one that I work with probably every single day. I just crave it all the time. And ginger is a warming circulatory stimulant that is going to improve our blood flow. It's going to aid digestion, reduce internal inflammation, and also is supportive to the immune system. And it just has this spicy, pungent nature to it that helps to warm the body from the inside out. It's perfect for cold hands and feet. It's uplifting. It breaks through that stagnation, both physically and emotionally, and leaves you feeling energized and invigorated. And I could have put this under the uplifting plants as well, but I wanted to choose this as a warming plant, but it does both. Ginger actually helps to improve mood. It helps to reduce anxiety. And there's many different ways that you can incorporate ginger into your life. I find the easiest way, if you're brand new, is just get some ginger powder and maybe go to Whole Foods and get the nice ginger powder, but get ginger in the spice aisle. Sprinkle a little bit into a cup, maybe like a teaspoon, and then pour hot water over it. You can add a little lemon to this. You can drink the ginger by itself. This is what I do if I'm out of my cut and sifted ginger. Another option is to get fresh ginger and slice it up. It's actually going to be a little bit different dried versus fresh. It's a little spicier. It's a little hotter when it's dried in the powder form, or if you purchase a cut and sifted herb from a place like Mountain Rose Herbs online. So having some of that in the morning is just such a wonderful, warming wake up. Another option is to add ginger slices into honey. This is wonderful for sore throats and immune support. I can't sing ginger's praises enough. It can go into so many of the categories that I'm talking about today. So I love that one. It's accessible. It's affordable. Such a fantastic plant. The next one is a little spicier, cayenne. Cayenne is a powerful stimulant. It boosts circulation. It boosts metabolism and digestion. It can help to relieve congestion and fight inflammation. It increases blood flow. It's going to be ideal for cold, sluggish winter days when you just are like trying to move your body or move your brain and you're just like coming up against, it's like you're walking through quicksand. Cayenne is a perfect option here. And I personally like to use cayenne tincture. So Sprouts will have it, Vitamin Cottage or Natural Grocers will often have it. You can purchase online from companies like Herb Farm, PHARM, Herb Farm. And so you would use the tincture of cayenne pepper. This is an alcohol extract of cayenne. So if you don't do alcohol, this may not be the best option for you. You could use dried cayenne. There's other ways that you can procure it. But what I like to do is take this tincture, and we'll be talking about cacao soon in the uplifting section, but I like to put a dropper full of cayenne in my cacao in the morning, and it's just such a beautiful mood boost. It's warming. One of my absolute favorite ways to enjoy it. Add a little sea salt in there, maybe a little bit of honey. So good. Another way that you could use cayenne is by adding it into soups and stews. You could use it in a fire cider recipe. Fire cider is an apple cider vinegar infusion of many different warming herbs and plants, and cayenne goes wonderfully in there. Maybe add some garlic, some ginger. It's going to be really supportive for both immune and digestive health. And the third plant that we have under warming is actually fennel. And fennel isn't always like the spiciest herb that I think of, But fennel is a gentle digestive aid. It's going to soothe bloating and gas. It's going to also promote that circulation and reduce stagnation. Fennel has a very subtle warming quality, and this is really beneficial for people who don't like it to be so intense. This is the great option if cayenne's just way too over the top for you. This is a very gentle warmth in the colder months. And fennel can be incorporated into your food. Fennel's so supportive for fat digestion, which is why it's often in things like sausage and Italian foods. Fennel seeds are often available to chew on at Indian restaurants at the end of the meal. They're commonly offered as this like digestive aid. And fennel is such an important herb in Ayurvedic practice. It's part of CCF tea, which is cumin, coriander, and fennel tea. So what you would do with these is get the cumin seed whole, the coriander seed whole, and the fennel seed whole. You would mix them together in equal parts and put like a teaspoon per cup of hot water and simmer it for around 20 minutes and then drink the tea. I call it taco tea in my head because that cumin is so strong in there, but it's so good for calming digestive dis-ease or discomfort. You could also toast the seeds and sprinkle them onto roasted vegetables and grain dishes. I like to add ground fennel into my meals quite often. It adds this like savory sweetness to the dish, which I really love. So fennel is a good one, and if you don't have it in your life, you should definitely add it because it is just so gentle and so supportive. Next up is our uplifting and mood boosting herbs. So first one I always think of if I think of like a mood booster is Damiana. Damiana is heart medicine. It is a heart opening herb. It's going to help support emotional balance, help release tension. It's also a mild aphrodisiac. Damiana is supportive to the reproductive system because it can increase blood flow in the pelvic bowl. It has an affinity for that area, and it really just brings this warmth and lightness during darker months. I love to incorporate Damiana as a tea. I love the taste. It's this cute little yellow flower, and it just has this really cheerful taste to it. I, in herbal school, learned how to make this really gorgeous elixir, which was kava, Damiana, I think hawthorn, rose, and these were all steeped in a port sherry for about a month. And then you strain the sherry and you drink like just a little thimbleful with someone that you love in the evening. And it's just a really beautiful heart opening elixir tonic that can increase conversation flow because of the kava that's in there. And it's just such a beautiful little elixir, one of my favorite memories from herb school. I will put a recipe together and put it up on my website closer to Valentine's Day, maybe like a month out from Valentine's Day. So I'll put it up in about 2 weeks or so when we're a month out from Valentine's Day, and then you can have it ready. You can also just have it as a little treat by yourself to open your heart. My next is my other favorite plant. She's tied for first with ginger, and that's sweet little linden. If you have never tried any herb before, linden is such a gorgeous gateway herb because you can actually feel the difference from sipping a tea of linden. It's a calming nervine and a mild sedative that's really great for easing stress and anxiety and tension. It supports the heart and the nervous system. It's just this really gentle hug in a mug. It melts away emotional stress and just promotes this overall sense of peace. It's amazing for a winter evening when your goal is to unwind and relax. I love linden as a tea. You can drink it by itself. You can add it in with other herbs like ginger or rose. It can really blend with anything. It's something that I put in a lot of my teas just because it is just slightly sweet. Almost, it doesn't taste like vanilla, but it's got that I guess sort of sweetness to it. And again, just very versatile. The last on the list, I also just love so much, which is cacao. Cacao is a natural mood booster. It's rich in magnesium, theobromine, and other antioxidants. She's a heart-opening plant and has been worked with ceremonially for centuries to promote joy and connection. I love to sip cacao in the morning or in the evening. There's a company called Ora Cacao, O-R-A Cacao, and they sell their cacao in little discs. And I like to put a couple of these in a cup, pour hot water over. I might add a little bit of honey once it's cooled down a little bit. I might add a little bit of heavy cream or half and half and just blend it together. I don't always put the add-ins in if I want something a little bit more bitter, but this is pure cacao, so it is quite bitter, which is amazing for your digestive system. But it's pretty incredible how you can just feel your heart opening as you are sipping this plant. The next I want to talk about are nervines. As I said, nervines are herbs that support the nervous system. They help to calm, nourish, strengthen your nervous system and the tissue within it. And there's different type of nervines. So we have nervine relaxants, we have nervine tonics, which nourish and restore the actual tissue, which is great during like stress or burnout. We have nervine stimulants, which are uplifting for like mental clarity, offsetting fatigue. And today I want to talk about those nervine relaxants, the ones that calm and soothe the nervous system. So the first one is chamomile. Chamomile is just this gentle, calming, soothing herb that also helps to ease digestion. It's also going to help reduce inflammation. Fantastic for mild anxiety, restlessness. If you do have digestive upset, this is a great option to reach for as well. I will often drink this as a tea. You can find it as a tea bag. It's one that's extremely common and easy to find. You can also purchase this cut and sifted from places like Mountain Rose Herbs. And then you would add about a tablespoon to 1 cup of just under boiling water. And you want to steep it for only about 20 minutes. If you go longer than 40 minutes, it starts to become bitter, which may be something you're looking for. But if you're looking for that sweet, calming chamomile taste, 20 minutes is appropriate. Next is passion flower. I love passion flower because it looks like a cartoon. It's just such an interesting looking plant. And this is one, just like linden, that you can really feel the difference from almost immediately. Having this as a tincture, again, you can buy a passion flower tincture from Herb Farm, often will be at Sprouts or Vitamin Cottage. I think Gaia also has a great passion flower tincture, and they are sold at natural grocers or online. That's Gaia. And passion flower tincture is amazing to have in case of a panic attack or any type of shock or something where your nervous system is just really out of whack and you need that almost immediate relief. Have passion flower on hand. The tincture is what's going to work the most quickly. I also like it as a tea. It's not the best tasting plant, but it is powerful, and that's what's the most important thing to me. It can help to reduce muscle tension. It can promote deep sleep. It's going to help quiet mental chatter, those racing thoughts and overwhelm. I just love passion flower. Skullcap is up next. This is a stronger nervine that's going to quiet an overactive mind and support that deep rest. This is for high levels of stress, high levels of anxiety, for those times when you feel very wired but tired. It can be a really lovely calming tea blend incorporated with chamomile and passion flower together. And then finally, I want to talk about herbs for immune support. First up is garlic, and garlic is another one of those really warming herbs. I almost put it in the warming section, but I actually reach for it myself more when I need immune system support. So when I'm actually sick, I really love garlic. It's also great for preventing, obviously. Garlic is antiviral. It's an immune stimulant. So this may not be the best plant for somebody who has an autoimmune condition because your immune system is already running on high. And so for those folks, an immune modulator is a better option. So I would maybe reach for astragalus instead. But for everyone else, garlic is a really amazing, powerful plant. And it's again one of those kitchen herbalism herbs that you most likely already have in your kitchen, or if not, you have it easily accessible to you. Garlic has a long history. Traces of garlic have been found in Paleolithic caves. There's over 7,000 years of documented medicinal use working with garlic. This again is a warming herb, so it's going to increase circulation. It's going to dilate blood vessels. And the volatile oils in garlic are actually excreted through the lungs, which is why we get garlic breath. So it's not actually that it's coming up from your tummy, it's that those volatile oils are actually coming out through your lungs. And the antimicrobial parts of these volatile natures make it really supportive for respiratory infections like bronchitis or colds or flu. Garlic does need to be chewed up or chopped up for all of the compounds to be as active as we want them to be. In the past, I would just chew up garlic and shoot it with a teaspoon of honey. And as I've gotten older, that doesn't feel so good for me anymore. So what I like to do is chop it up and actually put it into the honey, letting it rest for a couple of minutes. And then I'll just take it all as a teaspoon. You can also infuse garlic into honey by placing the cloves into a jar of honey for like a month or so. When I'm sick, bone broth or meat stock is a necessity. And so incorporating garlic into that is a great way to get your garlic. You can also do garlic steam inhalation or a garlic oil rub. So you can actually add 2 crushed garlic cloves into like 2 tablespoons of olive oil and then let it infuse for a couple of minutes. And then you can rub this on your chest or your feet. You can drop it into your ear for earaches. It's a really powerful plant. Next is elderberry. So elderberry is also a powerful antiviral. This is an immune modulator, which is known for shortening the duration of colds and flu. And it's rich in antioxidants like quercetin that neutralize free radicals and boost your immune system's response to infections. It contains anthocyanins, which have been shown to block the virus from entering the cell and replicating. And it also helps to loosen congestion and soothe sore throats. So making elderberry syrup is so incredibly easy and cost effective, much more cost effective than bottles of elderberry syrup that you can purchase, which of course make things more convenient. But if you have the time and the means to make it, I highly suggest that. So you'll purchase organic dried elderberries and you can add all kinds of additions into this, but the main thing you need is elderberry. So you're going to do a ratio of 1 cup elderberry to 2 cups water. And then we're going to add 1 cup of honey to this at the end. You can double this ratio if you like, but we'll stick with this ratio for this recipe. So you're going to combine the berries and the water in a pot and bring to a boil. You're then going to let it simmer for a half hour, and then you're going to take it off of the heat and let it steep for 1 hour. And then you're going to strain. And as soon as that liquid is just above room temperature or right at room temperature, then you're going to add your cup of honey and you're going to seal the jar, just screw the cap right on. And then you're going to shake it up so that it's all together as one. And that's your elderberry syrup. It's so easy. I actually also sell packages of DIY elderberry syrup on my website, which is brand new. So it has all kinds of other herbs and additions that are supportive to immune health as well. But love elderberry syrup. One of my absolute favorites to just take a little every day to support my immune system. Finally, thyme. So I love thyme. Anytime I'm sick, I have to have thyme on hand. I do try to grow this in my kitchen as often as possible. I've killed it many times because it is a bit finicky with the watering schedule. But if you don't have it growing, you can get fresh thyme in the grocery store in the produce section often. And thyme is just this gorgeous, very potent antimicrobial, antibacterial, antifungal that supports our respiratory system. And it acts as a natural expectorant, which means that it's going to help our body expel mucus more easily. This is great for coughs, sore throats, amazing for lung support. It helps to loosen that mucus and clear our breathing, especially for respiratory infections. This isn't for if you have a dry, hot respiratory infection where it's like you need some moisture. This is for like a wet cough. You can do a thyme tea by steeping either fresh or dried thyme in hot water. That is fantastic for a cold. And then of course you can also add thyme into a broth, which is kind of like a tea, but it's obviously going to be a little more savory. And so I really like to heat my broth up and then steep thyme in the already prepared broth and then drink that. Okay, so obviously this is not an exhaustive list. I just wanted to think of the herbs that I like to lean on the most this time of year. I feel like my herbalist self really comes alive in the winter more than any other time of year. For whatever reason, I feel more drawn to making potions and elixirs. So as I said, this is our last episode of 2024, and I want to wish you a happy new year. Thank you so much for being here. If it's not New Year's when you're listening, have a happy day. And I'm so excited for what I have planned for the show in the next year. I think 2025 is going to be the most magical year to date. So cheers to that. And until next time, be well. You've been listening to the Skin Earth Vitality Podcast. If you like what you heard today, consider giving me a 5-star rating. It helps other people just like you to find the show. You can shop products and find all of my offerings on my website, stratumaesthetics.com, and follow me on my social channels at Stratum Aesthetics.